So today we are making zucchini squash filled buns, and I thought it was very of the season. It is loaded with vegetables so you can feel a little less guilty. So I hope you all enjoy. So this is just the recipe for my basic fluffy bao bread dough. I've made it a ton of times for you guys before. Recipe is going to be down below. But it's just some flour, some yeast, some sugar, some salt. I have some baking powder and baking soda. And now I'm just going to add in a half a cup of warm water. And as with any dough recipe, I always add a little bit less than I need. And then depending on the environment, I might add a little bit more water or a little bit more flour. So on medium speed, I am just kneading the dough for 5 to 6 minutes until it gets smoother looking before I add in 1 teaspoon of coconut oil. So you can see how much smoother the dough has gotten after a little bit of kneading. So what I'm going to do now is to form it into a ball, and it's going to rise for 1 hour in the bowl. So just keep that covered, and meanwhile, we can go ahead and work on that filling. So I'm going to start off by grating 1 zucchini, and you can do it in a hand grater as well. And I'm going to sprinkle it generously with some salt and let that rest for about a half an hour on the side. And what that's going to do is draw out a lot of that water that you don't necessarily want in the bao filling, because it's going to make it all soggy. And 30 minutes later, you just want to squeeze all of that out before adding in the rest of the filling ingredients. So I have 1 carrot that I've also grated, as well as a half a cup of rice vermicelli noodles. If you guys don't want to use rice noodles, you can use shirataki noodles as well. I have some garlic, some ginger, and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And sometimes the zucchini can get a bit bitter, so I would recommend perhaps a pinch of sugar as well. But at the end, you just want to taste your filling and adjust the seasonings from there. So as with any of our bread doughs, After it has rested, you want to give it a good kneading to develop that structure again, because otherwise you're not going to be able to crimp and pleat the dough. So I've divided it up into 5 equal pieces, and I am liberally dusting it with flour because this fluffy bao bread dough is very much on the softer side. It is on the wetter side. So dust it liberally so that it does not stick to the rolling pin. For those who haven't been here before, whenever we do bao wrappers or dumpling wrappers, I usually roll it out into a disc first and then focusing on that outer inch and having the edges be slightly thinner than the center. And that way the centers are a little bit thicker to hold the filling and the outsides are nice and thin so that we can do our pleating work. So with this squash filling, I am filling this guy up. Usually I put right around 1 tablespoon of filling into each of my buns. This time 2 to 3. And what that means is you're gonna have a lot more work for you in terms of pressing down that filling with your other thumb as I'm doing now. And because this dough is a gluten-based dough, it actually stretches. So it may look like you don't have much room left, but if you pull it up, you can stretch the dough some more as you pleat. You just want to let these buns rest in a warm place for 15 to 20 minutes before putting it into a cold steamer. And once the steamer comes up to a boil, lower it down to medium-high heat and steam it for 10 minutes. And once the buns become nice and fluffy, I am sure y'all will know how it will be. It is good to go. Wow, look at that. So one of the reasons I keep on going back to this fluffy bao buns recipe, even though it's a little softer and a little more difficult, I think, to handle, is because it comes out with the lightest, most fluffy buns, and they come out perfect each and every time. Anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed this squashed buns recipe. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys all again real soon. Bye!